Hello students, I am here with another video from the chapter Light, Reflection and Refraction of class 10th NCERT book. Now before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that till now what all things we have discussed in this lesson. So in this lesson we have seen about the word light, that it is a form of energy and it also has certain characteristics like reflection and refraction. And in the first part we have already studied about the word reflection, in which we have seen the process of the reflecting back of light, the bouncing back of light from any kind of the shiny surface, from any kind of the surface which is being reflecting. And then we have seen about the next fact that whenever the light is going to strike, it follows certain laws. So there are two laws of reflection, that is first one is the incident ray, the reflected ray, the normal, the point of incidence, all lies on the same plane. Okay, next thing we have also discussed about the facts which is related with the reflection, that it is going to we can get reflection with the curved surface, or we could also get the reflection through the curved mirrors like the concave and the convex mirrors. And we have also seen there are various image object positions which is going to help you in the formation of the image. Okay, next we have seen about the fact that where the reflection is being done, where there we can obtain the images, and these images are varying in their nature, size and position. Why? Because of which depends upon the position of the object. Similarly, we have also seen the mirror formula, and also we have seen the magnification and the magnification, and after that I have given you certain points of the refraction part of this lesson. So in refraction we have discussed what is the property of the refraction, and then after that we have seen refraction through the plain glass slab. After that we have seen the laws of refraction, and then we also have seen in the last class the image formation which is related with the transparent refracting surface, that is the lenses. So these lenses are the things which are helping in the refraction, where there are two types of lenses. One is the concave lens and the convex lens. So we have all discussed about the facts which is related with the concave lens. Convex lens. Now today I'm going to discuss about the concave lens and its properties. So in the last class, whatever we have discussed is just now displayed on the screen, and it is in the form of the tabular form, where I have discussed about the position of the object which is being related with the position of the image. Okay, so here the position of the object, if it is at infinity, what is the nature of the image? It will be real, inverted, and it will be extremely diminished. And what is the use of these what is the use of this fact that if the position of the object is at infinity, then where we can use it? Means we can look into the objects which are present in the space, which is helpful in the utility in the telescope. Okay, so it is helpful in the making of these telescopes, where the combination of lenses are being used for obtaining the images from the space. Fine, we could see the objects which are present in the infinity. Next, if the object is placed at 2f, or this here it is present at center of curvature, then what happens? The real and inverted image and diminished image is obtained, which is useful in the camera and even eye while reading. In the eyes also there is a presence of the convex lens, which is helpful in the visibility of the things in the surrounding. Fine. Next, if the object is present at 2f condition, then what happens? The image position will be at 2f, means at center of curvature, as we have seen in the reflection case also, where real, inverted and equal sized image is obtained, and it is helpful in the photocopier machine, where we can see in the Xerox machines the lenses are used to copy the things, to scan the things which are kept on the screen. Okay, next fact is about the position of the object when it is placed at between f and 2f. Okay, then what happens? If it is then the image formed will be beyond 2f, then the real and inverted image is formed, whereas it is bigger than the object, and it is helpful in the projector, microscope. Okay, so these are helpful in the projector and microscope. So why I am displaying this image, why this is which I'm discussing why it is so, because we have seen the image formation in the convex mirrors, but we have not seen the uses of the convex mirror. So the uses of the convex mirror lies is also written in the last part of this table. That is why I am explaining this part again. Okay, so the uses of the convex lens, there are certain more uses of the convex lens which I'll show you in the next slide. Now, in next position which we discussed was when the object is placed at principal focus. Now what happens when the object is placed at principal focus? Then the image will be formed at infinity, and the real inverted and extremely magnified image will be found, which is useful in the spotlights. Fine. Next is that if the object is placed at optical center and the principal focus, then what happens? It is the virtual erect magnified images obtained, and it is useful in magnifying lenses, magnifying glass. Now I move on to the next slide, which is going to show you the various uses of these convex lens. So the first use, which is you could see on the screen, is the use of convex lenses in microscope, in magnifying glasses, and the subject of light where a specific point image is going to be obtained by using these convex lens. Similarly, it is useful in magnifying glass and also used to focus the clean picture in the cameras. So this is useful in all these things, and I think you all can make a list now where these convex lenses could be used. Now in today's video I am going to discuss about the rules which is related with the concave lens. Why? Because till now we have discussed each and every point related with the convex lens. Now today I am going to discuss about the concave lens. Fine. So this is going to tell you, before starting the image formation in the concave lens, the rules should be revised. So this picture which is being present here is going to tell you about the rules related to the concave lens. So the first rule says, so this rule is saying that when the image is being obtained, image is being obtained means there are 3 points, there are 3 places from where we can obtain the image. So light could come from these 3 places. If it is parallel to principal axis, and I think you all remember the shape of this this concave lens. So this is depressed from the middle side, it is thinner at the center and it is thick at the ends. Okay, so it is the curved surface is at the center. Next is that whenever the ray of light is parallel to principal axis, it always is going to be diverged. Why it is going to be diverged? Because this is a diverging mirror. Now this is a diverging lens. So this diverging lens is going to divert the light from one, it is going to refract the light in the various directions, and if you are going to extend these light backwards, then what happens? It is going to give you the information about the that it is going to pass from the focus of this lens. So what does this rule says? This rule is simply saying that whenever the ray of light parallel to principal axis is appearing to meet at the same side of the mirror at focus. Okay, so it is always passing from the focus. It appears to pass from focus in the case of the concave lens. Similarly, if the ray of light is passing through the means it appears to come from the focus, it means it is parallel to, it is going to focus after the means it is going to refract after the refraction, from where it is going parallel to principal axis. So after refraction from the concave lens, the light will emerge parallel to the principal axis if it appears to come from the focus. It is just the opposite of the first rule. Okay, now the last rule says that whenever the ray of light is passing through the optical center, it is going to emerge out without deviation, means there will be any kind of the deviation will be seen in this case, because our light is going through these lenses without any refraction. Fine. Now next point is that we go on to the image formation in the concave lenses. Now there are only 2 positions from where we can obtain the image. The first position of this object position on this concave lens is that it is present at infinity. Now what happens if the object is placed at infinity? Now if the object is placed at infinity, it means its size will be very large, so the rays might come from anywhere. Now the two parallel rays, which we will only select two rays, and I have given you the reason why we are taking two rays, because if we are taking these two rays, it is going to help us in drawing the particular diagram very easily. Fine, means ray diagram will be very easy to draw if we are using the two rays and its nature. So we are using the rules. One ray is going parallel to principal axis, it is going to diverge originally, and if you are going to extend this, it passes from focus. Similarly, if the ray of light is parallel to principal axis, it diverges, and we are going to extend this backwards. Now once we are extending these two rays backwards, it is going to we will see that it appears to meet at the position somewhere on the principal axis, and that position will be the focus. So what is this case? So in this case, the image obtained will be at the focus. Why? Because the object is placed at infinity, so we obtain the image at f1, means it is the focus point. Next is that the image will be very small, means there it will be highly diminished. And what kind of image it will be? It will be virtual and erect, because it is present on the right side, on the left side of this lens. Fine. Next is the position we will discuss is between infinity and the optical center, means if the object is placed between infinity and optical center, anywhere it could be placed. So we have kept this object between this optical center and the optical center and the infinity. Okay, I have used this object which is kept here in between the focus and in the optical center. So what happens? So here it is being placed. Fine, it is being placed after the focus point, because we are telling that we are keeping the object anywhere, so you could place it anywhere. Now what happens in this diagram? It is being placed in between the 2f and optical center. So the ray of light parallel to principal axis, it appears to meet at it appears to come from focus. Okay, so it is going to come and strike on the focus. Next thing, since this focus is already means there is no place for the light rays to come. Next, what happens? The second rule says that whenever the ray of light is passing from the optical center, it is going to pass through that lens without deviation, so it is not going to show any kind of refraction. So when we are going to meet these points, means there will be a cross at these points, so we'll see that the intersection of these lines is present here, and we can obtain a small diminished image. We can see the small image which is present in between the focus and the optical centers. Fine, so we can see the image which is being obtained on the optical center and in between the optical center and the focus, that is f1. Okay, so this is about the nature. And what will be the nature of this image? The image will be virtual and erect. So in both the cases, we are going to obtain the same kinds of images. Next, this is again the tabular form of this image formed by the concave lens, where we could see that the infinity position is going to give you a highly diminished point size image. Okay, here, which we can see in this diagram again, and it is going to give you the virtual and erect image. Not only it is a highly diminished in point size, it will be virtual and erect also. Fine. Now if remember that we have to explain the nature, the size and the position of the image always whenever we are drawing the ray diagrams. And why we are using these, why we are using the word ray diagram here? So this diagram is made with the help of the rays of light. That is why we are using this word ray diagram in the optics. Now what is this optics? Optics means it is related with the light. Whenever we are using the word light, it means it is related with the optics. Okay, and the objects which are utilizing this fact of light is known as opticals. Okay, optics, so it is also sometimes known as optical instruments, or it is also simply it is known as optical things, or only optics. Okay, next is that why this is important to understand the image formation, because there is certain utilities of these image formation in each and every there are applications, I mean to say. Okay, so these applications I'll discuss just after a few minutes, and I'll tell you about what kind of utilities it could have. Now next we'll discuss about the position between infinity and optical center of this object. So if the object is placed somewhere here in between the focus, in between the optical center and the infinity, it is kept in between the two f and f, so the light parallel to principal axis will be diverted, it will be diverged originally, and if you are going to extend this backward, it is going to pass from focus. Okay, so this is going to be the first rule. And the second is that it is when the ray of light, second ray of light which is passing from the optical center, it is going to be it is going to pass undeviated from the optical center, because because according to the rule it says. Okay, now this nature and the position and the size of the object will remain the same, it is diminished and it is virtual and erect. Okay, so this was only the position of the object in the concave lens from where we can use, which we are using to obtain certain images, and these images have the same nature of the nature of that image. Okay, so the nature of the image remains same, please remember, in the case of this concave lens. And please, I'm just emphasizing the fact that whenever you are drawing the ray diagram, just focus on the rules, the laws and the measurements which you are taking. So if you don't even remember the nature and the size of the image, you could easily obtain the same result as which is written here in these tables and which I have taught you, if you are drawing it in the measured way. Okay, so always try to stick to the rules, and neatness should be there in your ray diagram, so that you will be come to know that where the intersection of the line is being shown and at which position the object is placed, and from where is that image is being obtained. Okay, and where these two lines are intersecting, there only you will get the image, whether it is virtual, erect or diminished or whatever it is. Okay, next thing are the points which I will discuss is the uses of the concave lenses. Some of the uses of the concave lenses are stated as follows. Okay, now why we are studying this? As I told you that whenever the rays are being forming the images, it is going to be utilized somewhere. So these are the applications, mainly these are the applications of the image formation which is being done in the concave lenses. Now as you could see, the pictures are placed over here, and these I have placed 3 pictures. The one picture is of telescope, second one is the binoculars, and the third one is the spectacles or the glasses or the eyeglasses which you use for seeing the things. Okay, so these are the 3 places where you can use these concave lenses and for obtaining the various desired image. I must say that we can obtain the desired image, whatever we are wanting to see. Okay, now these lenses are used in the telescopes and the binoculars, and I hope that you all know what is this telescope and binoculars. So this is the diagram for binocular, means this is the diagram of the telescope, and the next diagram is of the binoculars. So telescope is an instrument which is used to see the things which is present at infinity. Just now I discussed that whenever the object is at infinity, you can always see the image by adjusting it with the help of this telescope. Okay, to make the person focus more clearly and see the far objects clearly through the telescope or binoculars, a concave lens is used. Fine, it is the most preferred device over this convex lens, which helps in seeing the blurry images. Okay, so this telescope is used to see the far off objects, and whereas this binocular is using this concave lens. Again, so these binoculars, binoculars means, this is again a long word which is made up of 2 words, bi and oculars. So bi means 2 and oculars means it is the which is related to see something, means it is related with the eyes. You are using 2 eyes to see the far off object very close to you. That is why we are using these concave lenses here in this binoculars, so that the preferred images can be obtained by seeing, which helps in seeing the blurry image. Okay, we can observe using these binoculars where the object is very far, some far distance if it is placed, we can easily look through these binoculars and obtain the image. And if the object is placed in the infinity, at the infinity means it is at very far distance, then we are using these telescope to see the stars or other objects which are present in the space. Okay, Next we'll discuss is the next use of this concave lens is that in the eyeglasses. Eyeglasses means your spectacles. The concave lens is used to treat the problem of the nearsightedness or myopia by diverging the light rays and making it the clear image of an object in the retina. Okay, so this nearsightedness, short-sightedness I'm going to discuss in the next in the next some few videos which will be related with the colorful world, and there I'll discuss the structure of eye, and then I'll tell you about the myopia and why it is being treated here with the help of the concave lenses. Now in this class I just wanted to tell the use of this concave lens. It is also utilized in the glass in the spectacle making, and it is used for treating the illness of your eyes. Okay, next use is the use of concave lens in lasers. So these lasers use the small concave lenses, not only one lens, it is going to use the combination of lens. Similarly here also we can see the combination of lenses are used. It is not only the concave lens, but concave lens is also present among that combination. That is why we are just studying this under the heading of the applications or the uses of the concave lenses. Okay, please remember it is not only the concave lens. So here the combination of concave lenses are used to widen the laser beam. And what is a laser? Laser is a concentrated beam of light which is coming through the lens. Now which kind of lens it is being using? It is using the concave lens. Now we are saying that if only one laser beam is, if a small laser beam is required, we are using the another type of lens, and if we are requiring a large amount of the laser beam, we are using the many of such concave lenses, so that we can widen the laser beams very easily and it could work very properly. Next thing is the camera, where we can see the magnification of the lens in the camera is done by adding multiple lenses. Okay, so here is the place where you add lenses, and according to the device, according to the here also we will see the combination of lenses. Sometimes concave lens and convex both are being used. So these both lenses combination is going to make the focus clear, and you could obtain a very nice and clear image from using these cameras. So the camera is also utilizing the magnification of the image in the camera is done by adding multiple lenses one after another, like the convex lens followed by a concave lens, again followed by a convex lens. By the combination of the concave lens with the convex lens, it is undesirable effect are being eliminated. Okay, so that is why I am saying that whenever we are using the camera, telescope or binoculars, we are studying under this heading of uses of concave lens. Why? Because in the combination of the convex lens, it is the concave lens present over there. So that is why we can write these examples in both the cases. Fine. Now this was about the uses of the concave lenses so far. Last two uses of these concave lenses are in the flashlights. As you could see here in the flashlights, to magnify the light which is being produced. Means how is this being magnified? So this light is going to magnify with the help of the concave lens. Why it is happening? So let's read out. To magnify the light which is being produced by the light beams, the concave lens is used to increase the radius of the beam. So this radius is going to increase because of the diverging lens, because of which the light is going to diverge in all the directions from where it is coming. Okay, to make the light ray wider and magnified. So you will see that the flashlights are present in the torch. It is present in your even on the back side of the camera of your mobile. You could see that just beside that you have a flashlight, and it is written over there also that the name given to it is a flashlight. Now why this is known as a flashlight, everybody has understood, because it is flashing the light in all the direction. It is going to light up the place from where it is going to be focused. Okay, so this light, why this is flashing a light in the large direction? Because diverging lenses are being used. As this diverging lenses is going to diverge the light from one place to another place, it is going to increase the area of that illumination. Okay, next is the peepholes. So this is another example of the security point of view. I must say that for the security of your house, we always use a small hole which is present at the door. So these are known as the peepholes. Okay, peepholes means we are going through this, you are looking through this these holes in which is present in the door. Sometimes it is only the one hole which is present in the door, and it is at the same height where the person is standing, and you could see the face and you could recognize whether to open the door or not. You could decide after looking through this peephole. So it is used for the security point of view. So these peepholes in the doors, they are providing the panoramic view of the objects on the other side of the door. What is this panoramic view? Panoramic view means it is going to give you the complete view of an object which is present at the back side of the door, means on the other side of the door. Fine. But the person who is standing outside the door is not going to see through that peephole. This is the fact that this is made in such a way that the person cannot look through the other side. The who is standing outside the door cannot look through the door inside whatever the person is doing. Okay, and for safeguarding this, it is always covered with a lid. So you could just move the lid and you could look out who is standing at the door, and if you want to open the door, you can open. Otherwise you could even answer the questions which is related to the person by not opening the door, because of and this is very much helpful from the security point of view. Okay, so these peepholes in the door, they also provide a panoramic view of the object who is present on the other side of the door. Okay, and it works as a security device in which the concave lenses is used to minimize the proportion of the objects. Okay, so we are using these lenses to concentrate the panoramic view, or the object proportion is going to be minimized, fine, by providing a wider view of the object which is present outside. Now if the object is present, the person is present very close to the door, how you are going to look through that peephole and you could recognize that who is standing at the door? So for that, for adjusting all these views, you are using a combination of this concave lens, so that you could minimize the proportion of the object. Okay, you could focus the object from wherever it is present, where it is present. Either the person is present very far off, then also you can see. If the person is present very close to your mirror, to these peepholes, you could also see through them very nicely and very clearly. So we have seen the uses of these concave lens in so many useful objects, such as these telescopes, binoculars. Then we have seen it is used in the spectacles, then it is used in the lasers, it is used in the cameras, and it is also used in the flashlights, and also even in the peepholes. Fine. So we have studied about the uses of this concave lenses in today's class. Okay, now we go into the next topic, that is the sign convention of this spherical lenses. So this sign convention concept is very much similar to that of which I have told you in the case of the mirrors, where when we were talking about the concave and the convex mirrors. So here also there what happens, only one side was present for obtaining such sign conventions. Now in this case, lens is the transparent object for refraction, so we can obtain the things on both the sides. So we have two focus, we have two center of curvature, we have one optical center. So with that, we will study this sign convention which is present in the lens. So we go on to the rest, others will remain same. Here also it is going to remain same as it was present in the lenses, so in the mirrors. So first sign convention says the sign convention of the spherical lenses is same as that of the spherical mirrors, except the directions which are measured from the optical center. Now what is the difference? The focal length of the convex lens is always positive. Please remember, this is in the case of convex lens, it is always positive. So this focal length is always positive. Why? Because the focus is present here on the right side, that is why we always take it as a positive. And the focal length of a concave mirror is always negative, and the distance from this concave mirror is always negative, because this concave mirror is having the focus on the left side. That is why we are using this focus for the sign conventions. That is why the focus lies on the left side of the mirror lens. That is why it is always taken in the form of negative in the case of the concave lens, but in the case of convex lens, it is always the positive focus is being taken, because it is present on the right side of the number line. Because of the it is present on the right side of this principal axis. Okay, after the right, it is present on the right side of the lens. Next thing is all the things remains same. The direction of the incident ray, if it is like this, then it is always taken in the negative form, and then if the height of the object is downwards, it is taken the image distance is always taken in the negative. Why it is taken as negative? Because at the y-axis is this lines are always marked with the negative numbers. Next, if the object we are using, the object height of the object is always in the positive sign. Why? Because it is always above, perpendicularly above the principal axis. So this was about the sign conventions of this spherical lenses. So here also the same things are given. The sign convention of the lenses are same as those of the spherical mirrors, except the distance which is being measured from the optical center. Please remember this. Why? Because we have two different types of focus. Focus of the concave lens is always on the right side, that is why positive distance, and if the focuses are on the left side, it is always taken as the negative sign. As we can see that in the case of this convex lens, it is always a positive focus, and in the case of the concave lens, it is always a negative focus. Okay, now next thing is that distance from the right side of the origin is always taken as x-axis and it is positive, and while on the left side it is always taken as the negative distance. Rest all the things will remain same, only it is with the focus we are going to see the sign convention is just the opposite one. Next, the distance above the principal axis is always the negative, is always the positive one, sorry, it is always positive, and the distance which is present below the optical center, below the principal axis, is always the negative one. Okay, why? Because it is present just at the below the y-axis. So this was about the sign convention of the lenses. Now based upon this sign convention, there are two more things to be discussed in this lesson, that is the lens formula, and then I'll discuss about the magnification. Fine, and we'll solve some numericals. So children, today's video was related with the uses of these concave lenses, and we saw the image formation with the rules which is related to the concave lenses, and we have also seen this sign convention lastly. So that was all about the today's video. I will meet you all in the next video with the next topic to be discussed.